The Grapes of Wrath is a film adaptation of John Steinbeck's historical novel of the same name. Released in the United States in 1940, it tells the story of the Joad family, who are forced to leave their land during the Great Depression and head to California with thousands of others in hopes of a better future. The Grapes of Wrath is a film adaptation of John Steinbeck's historical novel of the same name. Released in the United States in 1940, it tells the story of the Joad family, who are forced to leave their land during the Great Depression and head to California with thousands of others in hopes of a better future. The film portrays the extreme poverty and drought faced by the poor in a moving epic. Synopsis: directed by John Ford. Screenplay by Nunnally Johnson, starring Henry Fonda, Jane Darwell, John Carradine, and Shirley Mills, with a runtime of 129 minutes. Released from prison after serving time for killing a man in self-defense, Tom Joad returns to find that the Great Depression has ravaged his hometown. On his way back, he meets former preacher Jim Casey, who accompanies him to find his family home empty except for a neighbor who has stayed behind. The neighbor explains that farmers began using modern technology to cultivate the land, leading to mortgages by banks that funded these advancements. As a result, landowners began losing their properties, including the Joad family farm, forcing them to move to Uncle John's place. When Tom finds that his uncle's farm has met the same fate, the family decides to head to California in search of work. The next morning, Grandpa Joad angrily refuses to leave his land, only agreeing to go after getting drunk. The arduous journey to California begins, and the first tragedy strikes with Grandpa's death, who they bury with a note stating he wasn't murdered. Preacher Casey says a prayer. "I won't pray for an old man who has died because he's all right. If I was to pray, it'd be for the living who don't know which way to turn." On their journey, they find that California is not the promised land they imagined. They meet many people along the way who warn them about the harsh realities there. Upon reaching California, Grandma Joad also dies from the strain of travel, and they realize the work is scarce and wages meager. Despite all this, the family keeps searching for opportunities, holding on to some hope. The family settles in a camp where police agents exploit surplus labor and attempt to recruit workers with local authorities' help. When a worker reveals the truth, he is ordered to be arrested. Tom helps the worker escape, and a cop mistakenly shoots a woman. Casey knocks out the officer and flees. Casey becomes a leader of striking laborers. But when the authorities catch up, they kill him in front of Tom, who strikes back, killing the officer but becoming a fugitive. Landowners resume exploiting the labor pool by having wages. The family leaves to avoid arrest for Tom, finding a slightly better camp where they are welcomed. Authorities track the family truck and begin spying on them. So Tom decides to leave to avoid capture, bidding a heartfelt farewell to his mother. "I'll be around in the dark," he says. "I'll be everywhere, in every fight for feeding the hungry, whenever there's a cop beating up a guy."